Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the essential game knowledge and tools you must possess in order to survive your time in Monster Hunter World. We have a lot to cover, so let's dive right in. First, we're going to talk about Poogie. Poogie is a pig that walks around town and is dressed in green pajamas and usually spends his time hanging around the stalls in the center of Astera. When we approach Poogie for the first time, we can pet him by pressing circle and timing it right as the exclamation point pops above his head. If we do this successfully, he befriends us. If we do it unsuccessfully, he runs away and hides. He does, however, come back in between every mission. Once we've befriended Poogie, we can change his name, his clothes, or even pick him up. If we pick Poogie up, we can walk him around town and wait until we feel the controller vibrate. When we feel this controller vibrating, we can press square and set him down, and he'll then dig up an item and present it to us. These range from items you can use in the field to costumes for Poogie. It's important to note that Poogie works on a disposition scale, like, dislike, and adore. If Poogie adores you, he'll greet you at the gates whenever you come into town and will jump up and down and dance both upon your arrival and when you pet him. If he is not jumping up and down when you pet him, he has not gained the affinity for you in order to pick up items. So it's important to come back in between every mission and pet him. If he likes you, he'll act indifferent. If he dislikes you, he'll run away. Next, we're going to talk about items. Potions and mega potions are curative items. You then have consumables like max potions. Max potions are important because they increase the size of your health gauge as well as fully restore your health. Because it's a consumable, it acts instantaneously as well as it is consumed faster than a beverage. The same goes for herbal medicine, which is also a consumable. It removes poison, but in significantly less time than an antidote, and it restores a little bit of health, which is perfect in a pinch. Next, we have flash pods. Flash pods can be crafted in the crafting menu and should always be carried on you. When fired in plain view of a monster, it renders the monster blind and briefly incapacitated. However, this does not work on monsters like Sitsuyaku. We can also use them on flying monsters in order to knock them out of the sky and create an attack of opportunity, especially for melee fighters. These do work similar to flashfly cages because they have the same insect in them. When fired behind an enemy, it does not render the opponent blind. Often it just agitates them. Also, if fired while the monster's view is obstructed, it also does not work. Trank bombs and traps can be combined together to capture a monster. You may trank bomb a monster either before or after trapping it, and it will capture the monster successfully. Wet fish fins allow you to sharpen your blade twice as fast comparatively to a wet stone, as seen here on this comparison. We also have screamer pods. Screamer pods are like a specialized flash pod. Screamer pods can be fired at burrowing monsters and trap them similar to a pitfall trap. It must be fired almost as soon as they are entirely burrowed. This also works on Gyarados when he burrows under the water. This also gives us the ability to control burrowing monsters' actions. Keep in mind that if fired too late, it does render the Screamer pod ineffective. It is also ineffective if we fire it too early. The next three items are for team-based play. We have Hard Shell, Demon, and Life. Hard Shell Powder increases the defense of the team, whereas Demon Powder increases the attack of the team, and Life Powder restores health to the whole team. Dung pods are then used to scare off monsters. This is usually used in higher rank play. You can attack a monster with it or shoot a monster with it, and it ends up scaring the monster off. Large barrel bombs are used on sleeping enemies, usually in team play. And ancient potions fully maximize your health and stamina gauges, which is why you can only carry one. In your item pouch, you may press triangle to restock items from your item box. If you press R3, it allows you to rearrange your item pouch. If you press L2 and R2, you may add or subtract individual items. If you press L1 and R1, it does the same in bulk. Pressing options opens up this item loadouts menu. This allows you to make presets for the items that are added to your item pouch, as well as any excess being added to your item box. This is very convenient for hunts. If you're missing out on items, you go to the item melder. This allows you to basically trade items on the left hand side for an item on the right hand side. If you have a golden option in one of your crafting lists, this allows you to click on it. That means you have the ingredients, but not the specified item. So this takes you to a sub-menu that you can craft that item, as well as press triangle to specify an amount to craft. This is very important. If you press options, go to customize radio menu, select an empty slot, and then R1 3 times, you enter the radio menu crafting options. This allows you to craft things on the fly immediately. This is valuable if you have 3 flash pods and 10 flash bugs, allowing you to craft flash bugs into flash pods as you use them. It allows you essentially to carry 13 flash pods. Speaking of radio menu, go to System, then Options. Press R1 once, and then third from the bottom, you have radio menu settings. Type 1, you flick the stick in the direction to select an item. Type 2, you press R3 to select an item. Either way, it's preference. Right before leaving camp, it's not a bad idea to oven roast. This allows you to get a ration for free and only uses ingredients that you wouldn't otherwise use. It is also not a bad idea to create custom platters. There will be a link in the description to assist you in creating your custom platters to customize your buffs and your food skills. Lastly, it's also nice to press options R1 twice and then Hunter's Notes. This is an exact replica of the one found by the ecologist in Astera. You can view the ecology of the monster as well as the physiology, what's breakable, whether the tail is severable or not, the elements and ailments that it's weak to. When you carve it, do you get something better from the rewards, and what items drop off of which broken parts. It is truly wonderful, especially for small monsters as well. It's invaluable. Back into the field. Pressing R3 while under duress from a monster enters a panic sprint. If you are running while upright and moving faster, press X to do an invincible dodge. It takes some time to master, but it is invincible and worthwhile to learn. While on certain types of terrain, such as this decline in the Coral Highlands, certain movesets will allow you to mount monsters that you could not otherwise mount with your weaponry. Such as here, it's important to understand that this decline allowed for a jumping style attack. This can be used on vines and ledges. Speaking of terrain, wedge beetles can be targeted with L2 and then press circle in order to create a vine-like grapple to them. You can string the wedge beetles together in order to traverse great land as well as get through heights that would be otherwise very arduous to climb. If you're having difficulty in the water, use the waterproof mantle. The armorer quests unlock this particular mantle and allow you to roll and sprint through water as if it didn't exist. Welcome to the most relaxing aspect of the game, fishing. Press R2 to cast, bob the bait up and down with the left stick, and then tap circle to reel in the fish whenever you feel the controller vibrate. This is how you get wet fish, which are used with wet fish fins in order to sharpen your blade twice as fast. This is also how you get sushi fish, which allows you to cure bleeding and get some life back. You'll see the command prompts for tapping circle do disappear. However, I recommend continually tapping circle even though it disappears because I've had more success with this. Please don't underestimate fishing. Not only is it relaxing, but many materials can be obtained this way in order to craft better items. They can be caught with the net, but the remaining fish have a tendency to run away. Keep this in mind. Alrighty guys, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more Monster Hunter World videos.